Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's webcast. On behalf of the speakers, I want to thank everybody for joining on a Saturday. We hope everybody is safe and, more importantly, staying sane. We're going to try to have some time for questions at the end. So if you have them, of course, send them in. And again, hopefully we'll have some time. And I want to take a minute to introduce all the speakers. So John Fleming is the District Director of the U.S. Small Business Administration's Delaware District Office. In that role, John is responsible for the delivery and management of the agency's programs throughout the state of Delaware. Scott Ripplinger joined CGCN in 2020 as a partner, and prior to that, he had been a legislative director for Senators Mike Crapo of Idaho and Dean Heller of Nevada. Scott was also the majority staff director for the Securities, Insurance and Investment Subcommittee, U.S. Senate Banking, House and Urban Affairs Committee. Chuck Evans is the Executive VP for Lender Development and Training at Windsor Advantage, working primarily in the financial services industry and as a liaison between banks and the SBA. And Alex Rengel is the Vice President of CGCN, an advocacy and lobbying firm in Washington, D.C., and his clients include banks, finance and oil, and organizations like Microsoft, MasterCard, and Boeing. And of course, our moderator today is Mark Fagan. Mark, if you want to take it away.
Thanks, Lizzie. Welcome, everyone, and greetings again. It's a couple weeks now that we've been living this, and really happy to have you here. We've got some great panelists, and we're going to be trying to continue to navigate through this, the uncertainty of the Paycheck Protection Plan and how we're trying to help our clients and have some of the answers, but sometimes it's difficult to understand the act. So hopefully we can help you with a little bit of that today. The first thing I want to do, if we can switch to the agenda, Stephen, is to talk about what's happened in the past 7 days for each of the panelists. So just give a couple of examples of how crazy your past week has been and how difficult it's been. So let's start with Alex.
Morning, guys. This is Alex. The past week has been not really to say anything I've experienced like in my past, aside from just everything kind of going on in the healthcare, but also with the small business loans. Kind of really eyeing focus on what's coming out. I know that the Treasuries and the SBA have been working diligently to kind of get this up and started. Hearing the rumors and hearing about people, discussions that they've had with leadership and try to hammer this out and get it up and running by the target date of this Friday. So trying to track all that, it's been extremely chaotic, but certainly keeps me on my toes, and we'll continue to learn as things continue to roll out.
Thanks, Alex. Chuck, how about you?
Oh, thank you. Well, Mark, this has been quite a week. Our role is the delivery of the program for our client lenders, and that has changed. We've determined certain things on Friday. We have an online portal which will expedite the delivery of this, but then there are lenders out there that don't have access to that. So that's the quandary right now, delivery of the program and the constant change this week.
Gotcha. And Scott, as Lizzie noted in the intro, you recently joined CGCN and have spent a lot of time in Washington working for senators and on the Bank and Finance Committee. What's it been like, in your new role, and maybe what some of your old colleagues are experiencing as well?
Absolutely, that's a great question. To be honest, a lot of this is reminiscent of 2008 and the financial crisis. And what we're basically seeing is we've been spending our time focusing on the Hill 7 days ago, trying to get the legislative language to be as tight as possible, but to give enough guidance to Treasury and leeway for them to come up with the rules. And so for the last couple of days, that's where a lot of our focus that we've been helping our clients in is trying to get information from the Treasury Department, from the Small Business Administration about which direction they're going to go with guidance, interim rules. I will say this, that just like with 2008, you know, it's got to be fast. That's the themes we're seeing. We're seeing speed, we're over detail. And I think that that's what people are trying to flesh out is let's get the program up and running. We're certainly seeing the president. I think he tweeted about the program a few minutes ago. So everyone's watching and the system's up. But it's for us to help our clients best navigate this environment from small to medium to large businesses. And so everyone's focused on access to capital, and that's what we're trying to do right now.
Great. And finally, John, as a director in the SBA, you're in the middle of the battlegrounds, and also as a retired Marine, what's your last week been like?
Well, I'm finally earning my paycheck. You know, I'm working hard, and you know, it's of course no one's in the office. Everyone's working from home. We're you know, the district offices are kind of out of the loop. We're getting information sometimes in real time, like you are, and we're doing the best to get the word out. I've got interviews all day and webinars all day, and at night I answer emails till sometimes 1, 2 in the morning. So I'm working hard and trying to keep everybody informed and trying to you know, figure this out together. Thank you.
Thanks, John. And can we, so let's talk a little bit about the agenda. I think you've got it up on your slide right now. We're going to really spend most of the time with a series of questions, and I'm going to point them to certain members of the panel. Certain ones are going to be to the group. I do know already that some of these questions the group does not have definitive answers for, but that's going to be important for us to know as well, and because we're trying to advise our clients. And then we're going to have some time for a couple of questions, but then also probably before that, I'd like to pull the panel again and get their expectations of the next 6 months. And I know that's probably the hardest question of all, but that's how we're going to run the show here. Just from our perspective, let's say Citron's perspective and my perspective over the past 7 days, I can say that this has been probably the hardest 7 days professionally I've ever had, and I think it's because us as professionals in the world we're in, whether we're advising our clients on business matters, tax matters, accounting matters, system matters, security matters, we're in the business of providing guidance and answering questions, and we're very much in that type of role. Is we see a question, we attack it, and we answer it. And this past week has been about not having the answers, and not having the answers in a very stressful time, in a time that none of us have ever experienced. So it's been very difficult for us, and the only thing that what's helped me in my resolve is that all I can do, and there's been a bunch of us that have been working tirelessly on this SBA initiative, is to continue to look for answers and continue to plow forward, even if right now we don't have them all. So it's been very tough.